Hello gardeners, welcome back. Today is all about privacy, so I'm really excited to share with you today's garden tour. So we're going to take a peek at some buffers that we did a couple years ago. These are two nice little side yard islands, tons and tons of really interesting plant and tree material, and have done the job. They've created that privacy that my clients Maribel and Evelyn wanted to see. You ask, why do you need privacy? I mean, some of you guys know the answer to that question, but if you happen to be an entertainer, if you happen to really enjoy just kind of spending time in your pool area or your backyard area, and you kind of want it to have just a little bit of softness from you and your neighbor, especially if you're like within a community like I live and like Maribel and Evelyn live, where the houses are relatively close to each other. It's so nice to be able to be in your backyard, have your coffee, be in your pajamas, really enjoy your backyard space, and look at a tropical landscape island, not necessarily a fence, and then still have that privacy all in one. So that's exactly what they had asked me for, and I think we accomplished it. So you guys will have to let me know what your thoughts are. But if you're looking to kind of create something similar to this in your future landscape, stick around because I'm going to list all the plants, the trees, and then just kind of a little bit of characteristic information about each one of them. So this is a nice combination of material that will work together, and just kind of pay attention to the layers and how things were set up, so that way you don't have any trouble with things outgrowing or things being too much high maintenance because of how they were positioned within the garden. This is a small island, so very easy to replicate, and I'm telling you, it's really doing the trick, and you'll be able to see for yourself in a second. So follow me. So this will be the first island that we take a look at. So this particular island itself is set directly across from the guest bedroom. And what they didn't want is, they love having those windows open. And if you look directly across, Bryce, you'll notice that their bedroom windows are directly across from these bedroom windows. So what they wanted to do is be able to open those windows and see something tropical, see something with some foliage and some coverage, but also be attractive. So we didn't take the island and move it way in front of the window where it takes all the light away. Being able to open those windows was important for them to have all of this natural light come in this way. So we pushed it back about 4 foot off the property line. You can see over here, might be a little hard to see that stake right there, Bryce, but right there, that's the property line. So we're just angled right off of it. That way, the mowers, maintenance can get right behind there. So if you guys, I know everybody wants to go right to the edge of the line, and so did I in my own privacy buffer, but it makes it nice and easy because, especially within a community like this, it's very small, very close. You want to be able to make sure that you can maintain the backside of the island by trimming and shaping and, edging the beds without being on your neighbor's property. That makes for happy neighbors. So, that's just So this little island is set in that location for that reason. You'll notice that the next island that we look at is going to be kind of pushed forward because I love to stagger things. It looks so good from the road, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me share with you the plants and trees we chose for this island. So I love the Christmas palm. You guys see them often in my landscapes. They do a really, really nice job of giving you an immediate impact, so you get that right off the bat, but they grow to 16 to 18 foot depending on the location. This is a perfect size because it's never going to be not within view line of this window. It's set back far enough where you're always going to see this big canopy of fronds. I love the triple because the 3 heads really allow it to spread, really allow it to open up. Now, that being said, I needed something below that was going to grow in over time that was also going to create kind of a shield for for the legs or the trunks of these trees right here. So these hibiscus, these are the double peach hibiscus. These are going to come up and really kind of give us some nice shielding as this tree matures. So sorry you guys, they've just been recently cut, so they're not nice and full, but when they're in bloom, they're absolutely stunning. But they love to be around 4 or 5 foot tall. That's the ideal height for hibiscus. If you guys have those and they just kind of stopped blooming, that's the reason. They really do need some size to be there their best selves. So let them get a little bit bigger in whatever layering that you have. They're usually my backdrop plantings. So, and they do like a little bit more water than some of your other typical flowering plants. They do really, really well. So if you've got some low spots in your yard, like where we have these right here, everything's a little bit low in this spot. This is almost in the easement area, almost in between the two houses. So water collects a little bit here. So hibiscus are going to do fantastic soaking up some of that extra water. And then Maribel and Evelyn, they're such gardeners, so they always have a little bit of annuals along the base. So this is getting ready to change out, but for the summer. But they always keep everything looking so nice. So on either side, shocker, I have pygmy date palms. So these pygmy date palms are again going to mature out to that 12-foot height, but don't they offer such a nice little bit of shield? This is not a big island. This is nice and compact, nice and small. Keep in mind this is for a view line of a bedroom window. So the goal is to really give you a soft bit of impact right here. It's almost like a little floating island right here. So this pygmy date palm will do a nice job once it reaches 12 foot. And then we have the red hot hibiscus on the corners, yet not in bloom. And I'll tell you, it's hard to keep these guys blooming when they're this size. So as these trees mature, these trees are probably, I would say tipping out at 9 foot tall. Once they reach that 12-foot height overall, they're really, really, then you can let those hibiscus get into this range. And oh my gosh, what a stunner they're going to be. So yeah, there'll be a nice bit of layering once everything fully matures. And then we kind of have just a rinse and repeat. So this was done with 3 trees, 5 plants, 5 plants, 5 plants, and and then some annuals because she really loves flowers. So we didn't do anything intermediate down below, and we needed to keep this island very, very narrow. So that's kind of where we're at, because we wanted to see, Bryce, if you just kind of take a look at this sweep, we wanted to make sure that we didn't impede those big giant mowers that come through this space. So these mowers kind of can flow in on the inside of this and then towards the back, and then again right through this 5-foot gap. So they're able to come in and come all the way around. So the whole goal was to not really make the maintenance difficult for what the community mowers offer. So this bed that we're going to pop into now, you can see that it's popped up. Now this buffer here, this is for the pool screen. So this is a more dense privacy buffer. This is something they look at on the regular. So they really did want to kind of have color. They want to have impact. They want to have palms. So come on, take a peek at this one. Now, what I really liked about this island is that it's not right up on the property line. Look at how much space from the screen room we have. We have stone that leads all the way here. Now, this stone comes in at a grade, so you'll naturally see it. It does this, so we had to edge it to make sure that it doesn't run through the property line, but they have a soft grade that leads out to, again, this easement area in their backyard. So I like that there's this much room before you get to the plants and the trees, because that means that this lower hedge, this lower color that you see here, they're seeing that all the way from inside. A lot of times I notice when I'm redesigning a landscape that everybody puts everything so close to the pool screen, so unless it's a hedge, you really just don't see it. You only see the top upper plants and trees. So once you can push it back to the property line or close to the property line, you'll get to see all of the layers. So from looking inside, it's a really attractive island. So again, I feel like my mark is pygmy date palms. So these pygmy date palms, now these have grown up a good deal. So you can really see that thickness that they offer. I just love this frond. I love that it's in the way as you're coming between this and the hibiscus buffering the pool equipment there. I think it's just such a nice soft entrance to the back. And then that island over there, I know it's mainly meant for the window. However, when you're in the pool area, it does a fantastic job of giving us a second buffer from wherever they're sitting, because they have multiple seating sections and a backyard pool, their backyard pool patio. And if you guys have noticed that no matter where you're sitting in your pool, it depends on how much coverage you're getting. So the mere fact that we have dual islands and they're not wrapping the whole space, but we're still able to stagger them in such a way, they're getting quite a bit of coverage from those 2 islands. So I thought that worked out really, really well. So Bryce wanted to pop inside and share with you guys what it looked like, for what our clients are seeing from inside the pool area. And I think that kind of gives you a different perspective of the type of buffering, the softness that it offers. We're going to take a quick peek at the opposite island. I won't go into too much detail on it because, again, it is a very, very simple layout. But for those of you guys who might not have that grade shift, this is another option. Lucie, again, do a fantastic job of being drought tolerant. So they really will match the pygmy, the Christmas, and the things that are in this island. So this is coming out to kind of just soften the rear side of the neighbor's house. Her pool area is on a rise, so you're really able to see it before we put this island in place. Now, this area does not have a low spot like the other one does, so the Lucie is a fantastic drought tolerant. Once it's established, it is a fantastic drought tolerant plant buffer, so you can really, really do well. So all of this material that's within this space is very, very low maintenance, very, very dry, other than the hedge trimming that obviously you have to do with the Lucie. So as a centerpiece, we used a pygmy date palm. Now, we use this palm for a temporary fix until the Lucie got the size that they are now. We really don't need it now because of that, other than the mere fact that it's just an attractive finial in the middle of the island. It kind of softens up a green wall space. So I think it does a great job of doing just that now that it's matured after a couple years. The Christmas palms will get another 5 foot taller, and that's going to be ideal because at that point it will be over top of where the Lucie hedge is going to be. So you can see this Lucie hedge is, gosh, I don't know what that size actually is, Bryce. Probably close to 10 feet tall. Yeah, it's pretty high up there. So these trees still have room to grow. Their canopies will be up over it, but you can see how much trunk these trees give. This is not even full grown, and it's got, you're going to see, if you didn't have something behind it, you would see right through it to the neighbor's yard, and you can see her pool area is on a lift, so it was very, very visible. I'll see if I have a before picture. I'm not sure if I do or not, but you can kind of see over there, Bryce, of what they would be looking at directly across from them. So this did the job of really softening that whole pool structure from their pool structure. So I thought we'd just do a quick share on this. So this is pretty much an island filled with 2 Christmas palms, 1 pygmy date palm, a row of Lucie, and boom, you're done. I mean, you could just dress it up with some small plantings, but that's kind of your choice. That's kind of what color you want to look at. So as long as they're drought tolerant material, then you're a-okay. You're good to go. So this is a nice fix for a small space for a really, really well done and well-pleasing island. Centerpiece is the triangle fan palm. I love this graceful arching on this guy. I love the color, the softness that he gives, a little bright spot of silver in the garden. I just think he's so cool, and he's growing so very well. So the backdrop, 2 big boys, are royal palms. Those are such stunners. They're really, really becoming a nice focal point in the back garden. And the neighbors did a nice job for Maribel and Evelyn by giving them a Lucie backdrop that the neighbor has there. So we kind of get dual duty, being able to borrow their landscape. And then we placed the Rojo red copper leaves just behind the triangle fan palm to kind of give a secondary bit of brightness. And a lot of these layers for this area they're just not for the view line. I mean, you can see that pool's completely gone. It's completely disappeared over there, but it's also for sound. They enjoy their pool area space just like they do, and so that means you're out in it a lot. And having this privacy, having this sound barrier, it's just so huge. I think that's a big part of privacy, is not hearing what's going on next door. So the mere fact that they've got their own Lucie hedge. I know it's just a Lucie hedge, but now we get to borrow that and then layer it in with some colors and some fronds, which kind of give it a much more attractive island look, I think, anyway. So so we got some dappled in quarter lines here, and these songs of India. And I wanted to bring attention to these songs of India because I know a lot of people let them just kind of go crazy, and you can, if that's the look that you're going for. But see this nice little bunching of them? This gives such a pop of color from inside. I love seeing these here, especially as those copper leaves in the back grow up a little bit, so you'll see that bright dark red with this bright variation in color. And this is not gonna in any way be a hedge, but you can trim it as square as you want, and it'll naturally pop out in areas to make just be a little funky, which I think is so cool. I just think that's gonna be so neat. And so this one's still growing in, but it's just doing so well. So, sorry, you guys, the camera overheated, and so we'll pick up where we left off. It overheated just like me. I guess we both needed the break, so it's like 110 degrees out here. Not really, but it feels like it. So what I was saying is, if this might apply to some of you guys, because a lot of times when you put a privacy buffer in on your side yard and you're pushed back as far as this buffer is here, the front of the buffer is nice and high and dry, but because it starts to slope back, the rear side of it has a tendency to be a little bit more moist, sit in water a little bit more, and that's exactly what happened here. So we kind of have a combo of plants that like it both ways. So the front section here is the pygmy date palms, the triangle palms, the Song of India, the dwarf ixora, the bougainvillea tree. Those are things that really do love it dry. Hot, dry, can handle the bounce back from the heat off of this rock, no problem. The things that like it a little bit more moist can handle drier temperatures, but really do like, and the leaf stays nice and shiny, grows nice and thick, stays nice and full, is things like the copper leaf in the back. So this copper leaf in the back, you can see this angle goes back pretty far, but those guys really do like a little bit of more moisture. And if you've got an area that happens to stay a little wet, stick them in the ground, because they do a fantastic job of soaking up that moisture in there. So if you have some sitting water, they're an ideal plant to soak that up. And then the royal palms in the back. We all know royal palms absolutely love water. I mean, that big giant base is like a camel. It holds water in it. So if you've got an area that's more wet and you like the idea of palm trees back there and you don't mind them getting some significant size, royal palms are ideal. You just kind of want to make sure you push them off the house, because you don't want any of those fronds falling, on the screened room or on the house, because they get nice and big. So yeah, so this is an island that's really coming together. I really do think that when you look at it from here, when you look at it from inside here, they're really getting what we wanted to accomplish, which was pretty much a solid wall of things that are way more interesting than a hedge. So, not saying the hedges aren't good, but you guys kind of see that. And then Bryce had asked me a question while we were on a break from the heat. How I design, how I come up with the shape of an island. And if you guys are in the beginning stages of that and you're thinking about kind of creating a space, obviously the whole goal is for the look to be, the focus to be where the seating sections are. So if you're enjoying a lot of seating, eating out here, having your coffee out here, and your backdrop is this island, you want the island to reflect that view line. So they've got 3 seating sections back here, and then the one in the middle is for the pool. But so I wanted this whole area, this whole section, to kind of have a crescent shape. That's kind of my favorite shape. I like ovals and I like crescent shapes. To me, the islands really reflect so nicely. I rarely do a squared off shape unless I just don't have room to add curves. That's kind of the only time I don't do it. But that crescent shape is kind of like where it ovals out on the corners, kind of narrows in the middle, and then pops out and rounds out on the corners. And a lot of times, you guys, I don't make my islands even. This one happens to be more even in the front than even normal. But like if I'm trying to kind of create a little bit more privacy, say on this side over here, I could take one corner of the island and drop it further down, just so, because Mother Nature is not completely balanced, completely even. I like having where one might be narrow here and then really jay out on the edges, and that way you can put a different variation of color right to the front there and make maybe one more tier. Now, I didn't do it on this one because we have the lake, and I didn't want in any way take up any kind of view line of their lakes. So that's the reason why this one's pushed back. However, if this was nothing but another house here, you better believe that I would have jayed that out and kind of even taken it kind of closer to the corner of the pool screen. But so if you're thinking about doing that for your space, kind of keep that in mind, because to me that it makes for a great custom look to your space. I know, right? This is like a camel. This guy is huge. Now, he was a nice size when we put him in, and you kind of see how we did raise them up a little bit, even the back, all the back, just so that way they're not sitting in water. Some of that water is going to run off to the rear side of it, and that's also another reason why we wanted to make sure not to be right on the privacy, right on the edge of the property line. We wanted to make sure that, there was still a little bit of runoff, so that way, easy maintenance. We can come back here and nicely trim this lovely hedge and still be well within their property line. So just kind of things to keep in mind when you're creating your own island, we're creating your own space. So, but yeah, that pretty much sums up a couple small islands for a lovely backyard. If you're in a subdivision like this, I really hope this kind of helps. I really hope this video kind of, might give you some ideas and inspiration for your own space. So for those of you who don't know me, again, my name is Jennifer Bevins, and I have a landscape company here in Vero Beach, Florida. I am a landscape designer, and if you're looking to have some landscape work done, then check us out. I'll put all of our detail and contact information down below. We service areas from as far south as Jupiter, Florida, and as far north as Viera, Satellite Beach area. So we're very, very happy to help you. So thanks so much. You guys take care. See you in the next video.